Hi, I'm Davina Shemaya, and just like you, I'm recovering from complex post-traumatic stress disorder and narcissistic abuse. And today I want to give you a message, and that message is you are not despicable. You are a worthy human being, worthy of love, deserving of amazing and fabulous things in your life. And you did not deserve the abuse that you suffered from your parents. Nobody deserves that. No child deserves that. You were a child. You were helpless, defenseless against their abuse, their emotional abuse, their verbal abuse, their physical abuse, if that happened to you. And verbal and emotional abuse, as I've said before, is humongously, that's a word, damaging. And yeah, I'm going through a strange and yet I think wonderful period here of shedding this deeper feeling of shame. I used to I think naming shame is so important. And I started naming the shame, like, oh, I'm feeling ashamed. And that was like such a huge step for me. And I think this is like even even a deeper, darker place of really, I just realized that word just came to me, despicable. But I felt despicable. Like, I looked up the meaning of that word today, and it says, deserving to be despised or regarded with distaste, disgust, or disdain, contemptible. Yeah. There's another one here. Deserving to be hated or strongly criticized. And that's the thing about being abused, is being verbally abused and emotionally abused, is we start to believe that we are deserving of that hatred, of that disgust, of that contempt, of that disdain. And then of course that just leads to, more of it, and just believing that that's all that we're really worth. Yeah, I can't believe, that I'm 51 and here to tell this. I'm feeling grateful at the moment. I was in a huge flashback this morning, and as you can see, I've got my eyes have been sort of, I don't know, it's kind of eczema or something from like hay fever season. I'm sure if you're highly sensitive, you might be also suffering from hay fever and seasonal allergies. So if you are, my deepest compassion to you, because it can really just suck and be really hard. And I looked in the mirror this morning and I saw this, like my dark circles, like even were like just dragging down here, and it was dark and puffy, and like, oh, I think I was in that flashback. I really thought I was despicable. That I was just unworthy and unlovable and just a disgusting human being. That's how my child felt. Just absolutely worthless, not even just inadequate, because sometimes I feel inadequate, but this was just much more. And that is and then having that feeling also leads to, of course, like feeling not connected, feeling that you're not worthy of connection with anybody, that like, or you're not worthy of having, a good job. And I think it's a lot about connection. I mean, everything is relationship and connection. And when we feel that we're not worthy of that love and compassion, yeah, well, I know I just ended up in more and more like relationships where I just kept, getting the same thing. And God, this is hard work to recover from. Narcissistic abuse. And I wrote a list, and I'm sure I've probably read something similar, but I needed to hear it again today. And I've been working as a nanny for 5 years, and for the last 4 years with toddlers. And these are the phrases that I've heard that parents say either directly to their child or in reference to their child. And it is like, to think that these were some phrases that my parents said to me as a child to attempt to unload their garbage and their shame and their self-hatred, onto me. So here's some of them. He's being a suck. He's being dramatic. She was crying hysterically. Why are you screaming? Why are you screaming like a banshee? That's an overreaction, don't you think? You're being unreasonable. Big girls don't do that. You should be more cheerful. Grumpy Gus, Miss Cranky Pants, silly baby. You're being ridiculous. You're being silly. And I'm talking about when they're in tears, and someone's saying, you're being silly. You need to calm down. You don't need to cry. Don't worry, you're okay. I don't like this. I heard a father, like his son is crying, and he says, I don't like this. I saw a woman slap her baby on the back, like not in a loving way. Is ready. He's being cranky, like just using the word cranky and grumpy. And what's wrong with you? Literally I heard a father say, what's wrong with you? These are just like, these are despicable. These parents saying this to their child is despicable. You're a funny one. I don't know why she likes that hideous toy. One more here. You look ridiculous. I heard a father say that. You look ridiculous. What were you thinking? A little girl trips on some toys, and he says, what were you thinking? You're a troublemaker. These are the despicable things that parents say to their child. And so when your inner child is feeling this way, validate that feeling and hold yourself and comfort yourself and say, of course, it's totally understandable that you're feeling so despicable, so ashamed. You feel that way because your parents spoke to you with words of contempt and disgust and anger, not love, not compassion. Yeah. And for my inner child, validation is huge. Just validating, whatever's that my inner child is going through, even if she's going through a really dark place and she's saying like, I think I'm going to die, or I think I want to die. Just validate that. It can be really scary at first, but really for me anyway, she just wants to be validated. Like, of course you feel like you're going to die. Your parents are like not emotionally nurturing you, or not nurturing you hardly at all, maybe 20% of the time, maybe 10, maybe less, for some of us, like hardly at all. My child needs validation. Just it's understandable that you're feeling that way. Of course you're feeling that way. You're feeling that way because your parents did that, such and such to you, or not even to you, but I mean, you can say to you, because your parents behaved that way. You felt that way. Of course you felt that way. Of course you felt like a worthless, despicable human being. Your parents were talking to you like talking crap at you, saying contemptuous things. Empathize with yourself. That must have been so painful. That must have been so hard. That must have been just unbearably, excruciatingly painful. Give yourself compassion. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My given name is Donna, so that's my inner child. So I use that name a lot when I'm talking to her. I'm so sorry you're going through that, Donna. And yeah, just giving yourself that compassion. I'm so sorry for your suffering and your pain. And, I put my hand on my heart and lots of compassion, tons of compassion. And if it feels hard, sometimes like this morning I was in a flashback. It was hard. It's hard to be compassionate when you're in a flashback because you're thinking you're despicable, right? I just kept repeating, I love you, Donna. I love you, Donna. I love you, Donna. I love you, Donna. Or you might just I'm with you. I'm with you, Donna. I'm with you, Donna. Just find something that you can repeat that feels comforting, that feels loving for you. Also, another one is just acknowledgement and pride. Give your inner child and yourself that I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. And you're so brave. You're so resilient. You're so strong. And you're such a beautiful person. You're so beautiful. You're beautiful inside and out. I love you through and through. Give yourself that pride, that acknowledgement, remind yourself of the beautiful and wonderful person that you are. And encouragement too. You're always doing the right things. Our parents made us feel like we're getting it wrong all the time, that we're wrong, we're getting it wrong constantly. That's my baseline shame thing. I'm wrong. I'm somehow wrong. I'm doing it wrong. And so, I like to say, you're doing all the right things. You're doing all the right things. You're always getting it right. You're doing it right. It's to stop the pattern of the self-blame, and it's not your fault, and yeah. Wow. Yeah, I feel like this is a good transition. I've left jobs that haven't worked, and I'm floating free right now. And I know that God will provide. Yeah, say no to those things that aren't working for you. Say no. And it's going to be scary at first, to say no to things and people and relationships. It's terrifying, terrifying. But saying no is so powerful. And I'll let you know how things go. I think I'm feeling really just, I have faith, God will provide. And so I think I will end this video here and again remind you that you are worthy and you're a beautiful human being. And I thank you for watching. And I'm wishing you many, many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening, which can be just so difficult and painful. And yeah, thanks. And I'm Davina Shamaya at Boldness Blooming.